what the idea of Balogun Sef is just as we talk about the global market and we talk about the stock exchange market, we can't forget the normal simple man's market and purchase and the buying and selling of goods and services and how the naira is facing what the naira is facing in the open markets as opposed to in the other markets. And of course, I don't know what's better time than now to talk about Balogun abroad, purchasing power, the buying and selling of goods and services, the transportation of goods and services, the experiences of the common person in the open market as opposed to those who are in the stock exchange market and all the other markets. And of course, the value of the naira. But today, we're looking at Mr. President's economic policies and how they affect us as a country. It's been 1 year, of course, Mr. President, getting into office. And today we want to look at those economic policies and programs. Don't forget that some days ago, former President Olusegun Obasanjo had taken on Mr. President on the issue of, his economic policies and some of the what's the word now? I'm going to remember the word. I want to make sure that I use it properly. Reforms, yes. Some of the reforms that have been put in place. He questioned it, obviously. And then the APC yesterday hit back at former President Olusegun Obasanjo, saying that he's not in the best position to criticize the Tinubu administration. But my guest is going to be talking to us about those economic policies, of course, from an insider's perspective. And of course, the question that every one of us is going to be asking is, how have these policies, helped us? Has it improved our lives, or is it taking a toll on us negatively? Gospel Obele is joining us via Zoom. He's here now. Gospel, I don't know if I can say happy 1 year anniversary or not. I don't know if it's happy or if it's unhappy, but hey, it's 1 year of Mr. President's being in office, and there's a lot that has come to play, from subsidies gone to the unification of the naira to the FX situation. We've also seen the Binance issue. As we speak, cybersecurity levy has been docked for now. It's a potpourri of issues, and I can't wait for us to just delve into it. So once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Maryann. Really great to speak with you again.
Yes.
Looking gorgeous as always.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So let's start by general overview of, the economic policies since May 29 last year till now, May 29, 2024. Have they been hits or misses? And has there been anyone that the president has somewhat touched on that you can say you're giving a nod that it might in the nearest future yield us some benefits?
Well, thank you for the question. I mean, really interesting question, because there are different ways to look at it. I mean, but to start off, broadly speaking, when you talk about the impact or outcome, of economic or social policies, you want to weigh it on what's the day-to-day quality of life of the average Nigerian. To be honest with you, whatever jargon we're going to exchange on this conversation, if it doesn't boil down to that, we are just trying to, be politically correct. So has the life of the average Nigerian or the average business in Nigeria been better off for the past 1 year? Of course, we all know it's a capital no. Not because it's gospel saying that, but if you go right now on your street, take a poll, ask 5 people, are you better off this year based upon economic policy and all that? They're going to tell you no. 4 out of 5 can tell you no. But are we on the path towards, getting somewhere?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, safe to say that from the international bloc, based upon the body language, the trying to buy in investor confidence and interest back to Nigeria, trying to sort of encourage that investment drive into the local economy, trying to galvanize more domestic local investment. Yes, we are on the right path. Have we done well in terms of being able to locking policy coherence in terms of how fiscal and monetary policies work together to deliver what works for industry growth and development, we've not exactly done so. So somebody may wake up to say, oh, XYZ number of fertilizers were delivered to farmers, or XYZ amount of money were distributed as per cost of living crisis and all that. But if you think about it critically, I mean, it's just like saying that, do you breathe every day? That's not a question, to ask someone, because by default, people, for me to be asking that question, it means that you're breathing already. To be alive to answer that question, it means you're breathing. But to be able to have a functional life, to live a very good life, to live a productive life, you need to do more than just breathing. So if you think of conditional cash transfers, you think of fertilizers and all of these means, first of all, you want to look at them as necessary conditions. They are necessary inputs that must go into the local economy for there to be an output or an outcome. And that outcome can be that with improved fertilizer schemes, food security is enhanced, or we have more local food made by local farmers, that kind of thing. Farm to market has been resolved and all of this. That's when we can say that policy has been effective. So you don't celebrate fertilizers. You don't celebrate 50% or 50,000, naira being distributed in Nigeria. What you celebrate is what that policy has done in terms of the outcome on the Nigerian economy. So if you look at it across those lines, I mean, it's just disheartening to say that I don't think the economy is better off based off on where it was, quote unquote. It was not in a very good place last year in terms of baseline now. I don't think that the policies have been very much coherent. Now, the policies have attempted to solve critical core issues in Nigeria. Let's be very clear on that. However, its delivery, its structuring, or modus operandi has been very, 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 very questioned. All right. So many of the central bank policies trying to review bureau de change licenses, contracts, and all that, clamping down on cyber transactions and all that. They're actually very valid questions to ask when it comes to FX. All right. But the process of how it's being delivered is also very questionable. You don't have so much of political people in the political class being involved in this conversation or being held accountable as well. All right, because you also need to take cognizance of the fact that where are the waste blocks of the economy that are, sort of impacting on the exchange negatively. Right, so we're not settling deeply or narrowing deeply into what the real questions are. However, so it feels like we're firefighting. Same case as well with the interest rates. You're expecting interest rates to beat down inflation, but hey, food inflation is already at 40%. All right. And that's to tell you that the average Nigerian is literally caught in a poverty trap. And they're worse off on the month from month. That's not a good scorecard for as per first year anniversary of any administration.
I wanted to take you on the conditional cash transfer, but let's put a hold on to that. Let's talk about companies exiting the country, because you made mention of the fact that the president is always traveling to try to woo investors. Let me just read out what I have. July of 2023, GlaxoSmithKline left. November of 2023, Sanofi left. December of 2023, Bolt Food exited. Microsoft just left the beginning of this month, 8th of May. Equinor left November of 2023. Procter & Gamble left December of last year. And Jumia Food also exited December of last year. These are a few of the companies that have left. Yes, I see the look on your face. But I want us to talk about, as a business person or as an economist, is it just about going to woo these investors into the country? What about boosting their confidence from within, as opposed to going out with the least money that we even have to woo them here? Let's not even, I'm not going to criticize. What should they be focusing on? Which are the big problems that I think is making some of these companies exit the country?
Yeah. I mean, in fact, for some of them have not exited yet. They've really downsized. Not just in workforce now. Some of them have downsized in product lines, in brands that I don't know if you get their brands that we've grown up to know. In Nigeria for about 50 years, they're no longer in the radar, or they already exited or exceeding the radar. So it's a big issue, actually. And majority of these things have usually been on the grounds of the foreign exchange management. Majority of them have also been on the grounds of the interest rate dynamics as well, and worsening the political tensions that are impacting the local economy. However, like you mentioned, it's just about going to woo investors. I mean, Nigeria is still not yet one of the top 3 most attractive places to invest in Africa. It's still not yet. I mean,
Wow.
when you think of the top 3, you're thinking of Egypt, Morocco, somewhere in Rwanda or something like that. Nigeria is not near top 3, and that's really, really bad. In terms of GDP as well, we've really, really dropped off and all of that. So, in context to respond to your question, I think the president started on a very good note in terms of trying to really build back that confidence. But the gap we've had over time and has also come back to has become counterproductive in terms of his visits and outcome from those engagements have been that we've not also fixed local policies to help local businesses thrive. So an investor wants to come in and you see a GlaxoSmithKline leaving Nigeria. You see what happened to Landmark. You've seen all those things.
Landmark is in the Gambia, by the way. They left us for the Gambia, one of the most exotic tourist, destinations.
Countries in Africa. Yeah. I mean, and that's really bad. And then you hear the concern of, if an environmental impact assessment was done or not. Again, that's to tell an average investor that these people are not critical about research. They're not evidence-based in their planning. So you're seeing a lot of things by virtue of your very, very sporadic, literally unintelligent, policy or execution moves. So whilst lots of investment and energy is going towards galvanizing foreign direct investment or portfolio investors, as the case may be, not much has been done to protect businesses locally. Businesses are worse off, households are worse off. So even if the investors come in, what's the guarantee that they're going to, have their monies back at the return you're proposing to them? So the gap has been ensuring that local businesses are better off for it. And my worry is that that counterproductive move will bite back. And we've also seen a slowdown in the level of international commitment and all that in Nigerian economy. So yes, I agree with you. What I would have thought the president would have done better, quote unquote, would be to balance out with local policies. Now, somebody may come off and tell you that, but we've been doing that, what the central bank is doing, what the Ministry of Finance is doing, and all that. But many of its policies have been very, very, very conventional, and the Nigerian economy is not a conventional market. Like constantly, look at what happened. They've raised interest rates by over 600 basic points. It was about 400. The first major rate was about 400 basic from 18 to 22%. And then just like that, recently was by 150 basic points. That's a sporadic rise in a bid to trying to tame inflation. But no economy rose interest rates at that level of 600 basic points in a short time, just trying to beat down interest rates. And don't forget, inflation. And don't forget, inflation you're dealing with is a non-monetary phenomenon.
Yeah.
Right. You're not dealing with an inflation that is monetarily weaved. All right. You're dealing with an inflation that is very structural, very unconventional, and not monetary in any way. So it's kind of unfortunate that the approach to dealing with local policies to ensuring that local businesses are protected is not just unconventional, but it's also slightly orthodox. All right. It's not at the frontier level of problem solving. And that's the point through which you find lots of these companies exiting. And mind you, many of these companies have thought of exiting since Buhari administration. Since you understand, so it's a roller coaster of bad choices leading up until these days. So it's not really about what last administration did or not do. Today, the question is about who is responsible. I don't know if you get what I mean. So it's kind of unfortunate.
So we can't do that normal passing of the buck to say, oh, well, it's not us. We inherited the problem. It's what are you doing now to solve the problem? But let's talk about our FAAC. As at June of 2023, it was 1.13 trillion naira. July of 2023, 1.89 trillion naira. August 2023, 1.80 trillion naira. September 2023, 1.48 trillion naira. October 2023, 1.59 trillion. November 2023, 1.35 trillion. Let me fast forward to February of this year, 2.07 trillion naira. And it's not that we have made more money. It's not that we have more money in our coffers. I've also grown to maybe shudder or wonder why sometimes we draw up our budgets hoping for aid and grants, or sometimes even based on loans. Can we ever go past or get past this thing that we're doing? Because as it is right now, the government is still seeking for loans to build roads and other things. Can we be able to move away from this? And I'm also asking this because of the cost of governance in the country.
Yes, I mean, it's really, really bad. It's a very complex problem. At the same time, it's more of a political will or the interest problem to a large extent. And you also have a lot of vested interest weaved deeply into how the economy is structured fiscally. And that's what we see. So we talk about FAC, for instance. I mean, 80% of Nigerian states are completely, they are not commercially viable.
Mm-hmm.
In quote and unquote, they don't bring anything to the table.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're making considerations and disbursing monies to states who are literally funding or enabling the worsening cost of governance or enabling the leakages that already exist in the economy. And it's just like an increasingly deficit problem, as the case may be. Also taking into consideration that we really don't have a strategic revenue drive right now in Nigeria, and that's also impacting on our parts. So we are unable to really fund our developmental projects because we are not raking enough revenue now. But quite frankly, if you cut down significantly on government waste, we could make some progress with our home financing, local financing sources, financing local infrastructure problems or needs as the case. So we could make some significant problems. So part of one of the hard questions that many Nigerians are not ready for, many are not ready for, is that 36 states in Nigeria, 80% of them are not commercial, they're a waste of geographical spread, safe to say, but that's not the conversation for today. So if you cut down significantly on the waste on government waste, lots of amount of money can be redistributed or repurposed locally. However, there's also a revenue problem. We're not making enough money. And that's one of the reasons why government is also looking externally to raise finance. So whilst there's a big issue on the loan debt to GDP ratio and all that, it's really not about the loan dynamics in itself. It's more about what those loans are being sourced to finance, and what's the economics around how they are financed, the continuity of that finance, and the project itself. So, and again, you don't have layers of wasteful cost of governance weaved into many of these loans when they are being disbursed to government projects. I don't know if you get what I mean. So, if you look at the construct of it, it just tells you that our extractive institutions are deeply appealing. And this problem has been for a long time. So I'm not trying to be a prophet of doom, but it's not really going to go anywhere because the challenge is really going to keep evolving this way. So, however, low-hanging fruit would really be, trying to galvanize more MSMEs who are ready to export. Those are low-hanging fruits. You have a very thriving services economy. Lots of graphic designers, programmers, software developers who are working from home, working with international organizations who are willing and ready, to be part of the value chain if government is really, really serious and transparent about how they want to, not just mobilize revenue, but support them, as well as in turn, raise finance to support its local needs as well. You also have a very thriving diaspora network. I mean, on the very average, I have 3 to 4 people who are constantly saying they want to do work in Nigeria, do projects in Nigeria. They have sectors that they're ready to invest in, but they don't know how to do it. Not because they don't know how in the sense, but they don't know who to trust. There is no defined framework for the diaspora to support people locally or support institutions locally and see those institutions thrive to mirror what their day-to-day existence here, in Western markets look like. So you have you have a diaspora market that is strongly welfareist in its approach. So you're sending money back home to support school fees, feeding, cost of living, and all that. But they really want to do more to support mainstream ecosystem innovation. All right. But that's part of the innovative ideas I would think of, that government should think of in terms of mobilizing in quote revenue, not just speaking taxes only. As much as taxes is good, taxes is also very conventional. Like I mentioned, Nigeria needs both conventional and unconventional solutions to solving its local problems. So I'm just trying to be very frank. I don't think it's really going to get significantly better structurally.
Wow.
It's the challenges are just going to evolve in different. I mean, Buhari did cash transfers. Jonathan did Shopee. You understand? So even if you close down subsidies, the excess amount of money is in quote in the ecosystem. How are they being disbursed and to who? Emefiele did Uncle Bora's program, distributed fertilizer, but we don't have a master list anywhere to show who gained access to those funds, to those support, and not just who gained access. How have those things sort of exponentially increased the local production of rice, for instance? I don't know if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And how do they solve this? How have they solved the food security challenge in Nigeria?
I want us to stay on this, but I have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we need to talk about the sustainability of handouts in the country. Stay with us. It's still Balogun Broad.
Who takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with no sizzling cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans? Ooh.
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fan festival that you have been waiting for, GoFest 2024 presents Ruga Live! Also featuring Yaya and Skills with Energy by D.O. to the T.O.N, the Energy God, Shodi, the Turn Up King, and Fabulous, the Hype Man, your DJ, Uncle Boo Boo, and DJ Paparazzi. GoFest 2024 will also feature exhilarating games, food, and comedy. Come and watch the UEFA Champions League final on a super huge screen. GoFest 2024 will take place on the 1st of June at the Balmoral Convention Center, Federal Palace Hotel, and Madubella Way, Victoria Island, Lagos. Time, 12 noon. Limited tickets available, so get your free tickets now at www.golfestnigeria.com. GoFest 2024 is powered by Femi and the Gang and Football Republic. Proudly refreshed by Pepsi.
Supported by Indomie, Credpal, and Apex Network.
Ladies and gentlemen,
boys and girls, introducing the first of its kind in Nigeria.
The first radio just for kids. It's here at 101.7 Kids FM.
Are you serious?
Oh, yes.
It's going to be fun for kids on your airwaves 24/7.
Talking about from exciting games
Check.
to juicy gist
Double check.
and great music.
Super check.
All these and more on your number one PlayStation 101.7 Kids FM.
Don't be the last to join the train. Download the Kids FM app on your iOS or Play Store today and stay tuned on the go.
You can stream on our website at kidsfm.ng.
You can also follow us on all socials at kidsfm.ng and stand a chance to be one of the super kids.
On 101.7 Kids FM. Remember, it's no dull moments on Kids FM.
So tune in and stay locked on 101.7 Kids FM.
Let's play.
Mommy, my teacher said 90% of my brain will develop by the time I am 5.
Really? What else did she say?
She said I need iron in my food for my brain to grow well.
Oh, very true. And that's why I give you Cerelac Junior every day, which provides half of your daily iron needs.
And Cerelac Junior tastes so good.
Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus. It's all good, Mom.
Chinedu! Don't worry, Ma. He'll be home on time, just like his dad. I'm cooking their favorite jollof with Sonia tomato mix. They are here.
Hey, is that jollof ready?
Right on time.
Your loved ones will always rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
It's so good eating together with a family.
Yes, Ma. Sonia tomato mix brings you together. Proudly Nigerian.
Two things you can't have it all with one play.
I got that defined boy. You have just won yourself.
Congratulations.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Mellitus. One player, don't talk to 2 players because you won 20K.
So now you won yourself 20,000 naira. My name is Well Done. Okay, well done. You want to tell you, well done. You won yourself 20,000 naira.
Why Naira? Win big. 120,000 naira. What in Naira? Dial star 347 star 883 hash. Win daily on Nigeria Info. 50,000 naira on Morning Crossfire. 60,000 naira on WhatsApp Lagos. 20,000 naira on Sunnyside. And 60,000 naira on Game On. So Lagos, what are you waiting for? The more you play, the better your chances of winning. Remember to dial star 347 star 880 star 3 hash. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18.
Here you go, dear.
Mom,
add milk?
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids the new Milo 3-in-1. Milky and creamy. It's truly milky. It contains calcium to help your champ win every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo!
Are you ready to ignite your career in the media industry? Wazobia Academy Spark program is back and better than ever. Registration opens 20th of May and closes 24th of June. Physical classes hold on Wednesday 26th to 28th of June. Spark 2.0 is offering 3 incredible courses running simultaneously, becoming an OAP, series writing, and video shooting and editing. 16,000 naira only for each course, covering both online learning and 3-day physical training. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to kickstart your career in the creative industry. Visit www.wazobiacademy.com/Spark 2.0 to register or send a WhatsApp message to 0908 826 5038 or call 0911 111 1221. Terms and conditions apply. Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead.
If you get it big dreams to do big things, lonely day with red money. If you get it big dreams to do big things, lonely day with red money. If you get it big dreams.
Get loans of up to 7 million naira on Rain Money. Call 0700 5000 500 or visit rainmoney.com to get started now.
Meals have a way of taking us on a journey, and when you add plenty of vegetables like efo, ugu, and season with the rich taste of North seasoning cubes, even better.
So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Today, eat for good.
Hello, Mrs. Martins.
Yes. Oh, Mrs. Johnson, how may I help you?
Junior's body temperature is high and he's complaining about headaches and body aches.
Not to worry. Get Bruston and suspension.
Okay, ma. I'll call you back.
Bruston and Suspension for Children is a sweet-tasting brand of ibuprofen which provides relief against toothache, pains, and fever in children after 30 minutes.
Hello, ma. Oh, Junior, stop that.
Is everything okay, Mrs. Johnson?
Yes, ma. Junior is fine now. In fact, Junior, sorry, ma. I'll call you back.
Brustin and Suspension for Children. Always take the product after meal. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor. A quality product from Rambaxay.
Are you ready to ignite your career in the media industry? Wazobia Academy Spark program is back and better than ever. Registration opens 20th of May and closes 24th of June. Physical classes hold on Wednesday 26th to 28th of June. Spark 2.0 is offering 3 incredible courses running simultaneously, becoming an OAP, series writing, and video shooting and editing. 16,000 naira only for each course, covering both online learning and 3-day physical training. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to kickstart your career in the creative industry. Visit www.wazobiacademy.com/Spark 2.0 to register or send a WhatsApp message to 0908 826 5038 or call 0911 111 1221. Terms and conditions apply. Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead.
Get in on the action with Betano, your exciting destination for sports betting. Enjoy an award-winning experience with amazing betting options, cash outs and missions, as well as other features. Join now and get a welcome bonus of up to 200,000 naira. Betano.ng, the game starts now.
In a strategic move to revitalize the economy and address the challenge of escalating living expenses, the fuel subsidy has been phased out. The decision has led to an increase in transportation costs, adding to the weight of living expenses for many citizens. Introducing compressed natural gas or CNG. It's secure, eco-conscious and wallet-friendly, offering clean combustion and more miles per fill up. Make your way to our authorized conversion facilities in Lagos, Ogun, Abuja, Kaduna, Rivers to retrofit your vehicle for CNG and begin experiencing reliable and quality fuel. For further information on the PCNGI program, drop us a line at info@pci.gov.ng or reach out to us at 0700 0000 264 and stay connected by following us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at PCNG Initiative. Embrace the CNG movement today for a promising and enjoyable future.
CNG, cheaper fuel for better living.
They look for pension fund administrator. We're soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no, 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 no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. No go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment, everything, it just a blend. If you know what's good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension, make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615 700 to 704 to make the switch today. Premium pension, active today, premium tomorrow.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's now why anytime when they cook like this, I they always season them with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatasheo, shombo, onions. No one know they put. Now he make my picking them, they always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never available. I want more.
You see? Sama all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them with no cubes for that to get delicious taste. Today, chop better.
New Lafarge water shield cement now confirm. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Yeah. Obonge cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Yeah. New Lafarge water shield cement number one. New Lafarge waterproof cement now confirm. One time. Good full stop for water wahala. With Lafarge water shield cement, water go collect. If water jam house, foundation and basement to call, no shaking. Obonge cement for water logged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Lafarge, not confirm. Cement, new Lafarge water shield cement, not confirm.
Put full stop for water wahala.
The telenovelas of radio information.
More news,
more conversations,
more information,
more sports,
and more talk.
Nigerians station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
There's a reason why over 1 million people tune into Hard Facts every day. We discuss in-depth stories with sources behind the facts.
The Lagos State High Court has convicted, suspended the Chicago certificate story. It's never going away, is it? Show with stories for the day.
You hear diverse voices and opinions.
And she was meeting campaign with her husband, knowing that.
You should not be happy because there is nothing to happy about.
Yeah, it's quite pathetic the way the country is going.
We distinguish each story accurately with analysis.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, we're back. It's still Balogun Broad, and we're still assessing Mr. President's economic policies since he got into office a year ago. And it's been a year now since he took that inaugural speech, or gave that inaugural speech. And whilst we're here, my guest, Gospel Obele, is on here with us. He's been analyzing some of those issues. And I want us to talk about, this whole tokenism of sorts that our leaders have resorted to. But before then, Gospel, just bear with me a few minutes. I want to play you a bit of what Mr. President said on inauguration day, and let you, alongside other Nigerians listening, tell us if he and the CBN and the Ministry of Agriculture, Works, Housing, and all of them have been able to at least scratch the surface. It's a very short one. I'm just going to go through it, play it. Let us take a listen, and then we'll come back and have a conversation.
Reform both our security doctrine and its architecture. We shall invest more in our security personnel, and it means more than an increase in number. We shall provide better training, equipment, pay, and firepower. On the economy, we target a GDP not less than 6% growth. We aim to accomplish all of this by taking the following steps: budgetary reform, stimulating the economy without engendering inflation, industrial policy to utilize the full range of domestic manufacturing and lessen import dependency. The electricity will become more accessible and affordable to businesses and homes alike.
Okay, I want us to just, pause, just take a pause there, because I don't want to go through the whole 3 minutes of that, video. But Gospel, he's touched on very, very many things. He's even talked about industrialization. He's talked about electricity, which has been one of our biggest problems in the country with the increase of the tariff hike. Do you think that this was just a speech? Could it be that the president has good intentions, but the how to is what is eluding them, and he and members of his cabinet?
Well, thank you very much, Maryann. I want to give the president the benefit of doubt that those commitments he made last year, was for the average 4-year period, whilst he's in his first term office. It's a different ballgame if you want to run for a second term, but at least your first term, want to just give him a benefit of doubt. And many of the things he's mentioned cannot in any way, in many cases, be achieved within the first 1 year. However, there should be some strategic path, footsteps, policies, introduction of how those things will play out, and we've not seen so much yet, safe to say. Not to say that, those things cannot still be achieved. They can still be, you can still achieve a 6% growth rate in the next 2-3 years, although the chances are still very lean, based off on where we are right now as a nation, because you're not powering real sector growth enough to help power GDP growth. And at the heart of GDP growth is actually real sector growth. That means economic activities, how many businesses are starting every day, how many businesses are thriving and all of that, how are household spending and all. However, what I also meant to say is that within the context of that speech is the fact that not much was highlighted as to the how, and the why. And I would also say that for you to be a president in this time and era, it should be such that you've thought about the how and the why more importantly than the what, even before you came into office. So I would have expected that speech. I mean, there's still time, there's still room. Should also have given us a sense of the what and of the how and the why, and more importantly, speaking to how they plan to deliver. I mean, anybody can say those things, safe to say, with all sense of respect.
Yeah.
And because those are the big thematic issues right now in the Nigerian economy. Everybody wants to hear about industrialization, but right now I can tell you for free, within the last give or take 8 to 9 months of, for instance, the trade and investment ministry setup, we still do not have an industrial policy or something solid at a very strategic level that we can take to market to help us negotiate our position as a nation within the Committee of Nations and all that. So it's more around Nigeria, and it's also a bit difficult for me because I'm not seeing much of civil society organizations, so-called policy research institutes, and the likes, who are really challenging the status quo or interrogating the status quo enough with data. All right, I'm not trying to say challenge government now. I'm saying challenge status quo. Challenge status quo will mean that you are also pulling out evidence-based ideas, recommendations that can be used to, frontier, the state of things better, as the case may be. So, and which is what, in this context, Faith Foundation is actually trying to do within the entrepreneurship ecosystem. So you want to be able to get more of that, of civil society organizations, social enterprise organizations, even private sector, who are picking up sectors where they want to drive positioning agendas in. It's not just about having food bank alone. Sorry, not just about having food and drink fair. It's largely about how you galvanizing an ecosystem where more businesses can do more. The average business who sells bowls of soups now is literally threatened by inflation and the cost of these food materials in the market. So how are you driving a policy or advocacy or influencing based off on your status as a bank in the context of food and drink, if you choose to pick that sector? So it's just about bringing people together every year to just eat, drink, celebrate food, and then run your POSs and all that with all sense of respect. How are you influencing the narrative? How are you ensuring that more people can, can buy fabrics at cheaper rates within the market, even as you drive your fashion weekend? So these are the big thematic issues that private sector and businesses have to work together to influence what government is doing, so that probably it could be easier for government to be able to deliver on its promises.
Okay. I want to bring Lagos into this conversation. And if you're listening to us from outside of the country, you can join us via Skype. We're Nigeria Info FM on Skype. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube. Post your questions, your comments. We're assessing Mr. President's performance in terms of the economy, the policies, and of course, we're looking at also the reforms that have been put in place. It's 0201-277-0993, 0201-277-1993, 0201-277-2993, and 0201-277-3993. You can join us on Twitter, which is also X. Use the hashtag #HardFacts. I'd like to hear from you. Hello.
Hello, Maryann. This is Menon from Texas.
Hello, Menon. Go ahead, please. You have 60 seconds.
My question, to your analyst is I feel in this administration there have been a lot of proclamation, not policies. Like in the power sector, for example, as it was increasing the tariffs, couldn't they have done something like subsidize the price of solar for people so people could pay instrumentally?
Okay. All right. So instrumentally, you mean? Okay. Gospel, just be writing them down. I'm going to take all of them and then you can answer. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann.
Good evening.
Yeah, greetings to your guest.
Yeah.
I have a rhetorical question.
What's your name, sir?
This is Remy.
Remy, go ahead. Yes.
The audio you played where Tinubu was speaking and they were clapping for him, does it seem to you like he was convinced with what he was reading from that paper?
How am I supposed to know that?
Okay. From the way it sounds, you could tell this man had no conviction in that write-up they gave him to read.
No, maybe you could tell. I can't. I mean, I couldn't tell. I don't know how to do that.
I could tell there was no conviction. He was just reading it because he wanted you guys to see him reading something from paper. And you guys, they clapped for him. Over 1 year, we are far worse than we were. Ever since I was born in the 80s to this moment, I've never experienced this kind of hardship in my life. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who can say this. I don't know about you. Maybe you. I think you are better off than some of us. So you get. So the only achievement so far, is been able to sign. He's been able to append the signature to the old national anthem. Good evening.
It's the new national anthem. Thank you, Remy from Akoka. Gospel, do you want to attempt the very first question about subsidizing energy, alternative sources of energy? I think you're muted. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Maryann. Well, it doesn't easily work like that, and that's why, I mean, for sense of if you take it backwards a bit, stakeholder consultation is also very important. The power sector is one of the very sensitive, vested interest-driven sector that you can talk about. Power and oil, those two sectors, very difficult to talk about them because many things are happening are literally behind the background and more vested interest than what you see on the papers, news, and as the case may be. So it's more complicated because you also want to think of, probably stakeholder consultation could have been driven, to be able to identify who the stakeholders are. They already know who the stakeholders are, by the way, to be able to gain those reduction in time. But it costs a lot more to deliver when it comes to power in Nigeria, because of even how the economics of the thing was structured. For instance, how many national grids do we really have? How can you scale the distribution? So the way that thing is structured already, it already makes it difficult for them to work out a pricing structure that makes sense for the average Nigerian. So that's why you see that on the support side for consumers in Nigeria, it's a lot difficult for government to support in that order because the structure of how policies were designed in Nigeria was extractive. All right. And it's just driven such a way that it's more difficult to distribute wealth, distribute opportunities, distribute access, and all of that. So, and it's a very tough developing story, but it's going to really question on the need for more reforms in the sector before we can achieve that level of, subsidy in pricing and all that.
I'll take one last call. I have just 2 minutes. I hope we can squeeze this call in. Hello.
Hello. Maryann.
Good evening.
Evening. Okay, I greet your guest.
All right, you have 60 seconds. Let's go. We're racing the clock.
Okay, you see, I don't know how to read this administration for the 1 year administration. You see, because they keep telling Nigerians, be patient, we want to. Nothing is done up to 1 year is over. Now, I want them to do something meaningful, not embarking on so many projects. Just take one or two.
And deliver.
Constant power supply. Let Nigerians be having it constantly. Let them achieve at least one or two things. Get it done for Nigerians. Then my question is this to your guest. Please, sir.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Can you tell Nigerians, if you are able, what transpired? Why, like on Jonathan administration and Obasanjo during that time, dollar was stable at 200 for 16 years.
Okay, Rapro, time is gone. Time is gone. I think he's gotten the gist of your question. We have just 1 minute before we wrap up, Gospel.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, it's not easily as it looks. It's also very difficult at the level of governance. And don't forget that we've gone through COVID-19. We've gone through 2 recessions in the last 7 years and all of that. So economic times and seasons also evolve. So you really can't compare one administration to another, in context. And also geopolitically, even globally right now, things have also evolved significantly. Unfortunately, Nigeria is always at the receiving end by virtue of our constant nature of poor leadership, poor and lack of visionary leadership. So it just impacts on everything and it becomes a cycle. I can't go really deep into the analysis, but that's how much I can answer that question now. We just hope things get better and that the president is really open to strategic partnerships and all that to helping them, fill in the gaps they need to. But I don't think that, I think Nigerians deserve better and they need to do more for themselves as well.
Well, Gospel Obele is an economist. Always a pleasure to have him in the studio to talk to us on issues that affect our economy. Thank you so much, Gospel. Unfortunately, time is never our friend, but we appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, Lagos, we're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, I'll be saying my proper goodbyes. It's still Balogun and Broad on Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Stay with us.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.